Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're getting into something incredibly fascinating. We're literally breaking down the psychological differences between average earners and the ultra wealthy. We're diving right into the source material to figure out what actually separates those who achieve true financial independence from those who just kind of struggle. Fun fact, did you know the vast majority of millionaires are actually self-made? It's true. And spoiler alert, their success has almost nothing to do with the initial numbers on their paycheck. Let's get right into it. So, are better opportunities the real secret to wealth? I mean, most people think wealthy people get rich just because they get a lucky break, right? Or maybe they inherited a bunch of money or had perfect timing. But honestly, the truth is completely different. The real secret doesn't start with some amazing external opportunity. It actually begins internally. Success starts with a massive, fundamental mindset shift. Before a bank account ever grows, the way a person thinks absolutely has to change first.
All right, let's move into section 1, the great wealth myth, mindset before money.
As you'll see, most successful people change their mindset first, and then they change their lives. We usually get this completely backwards, don't we? We tend to think, oh, once I have money, I'll start making smart financial decisions. But our source material is super clear here. Internal discipline and smart decision-making always precede the actual financial results. You really have to build the mental framework of wealth long before the physical proof ever shows up in your checking account. It's kind of like building the foundation of a house before you put up the walls.
Okay, moving to section 2, consumers versus investors, two totally different paths.
Here's the thing. When most people earn money, their very first thought is about what they can buy today. It's totally driven by instant gratification. But the successful investor mindset, it's entirely future-oriented. When they earn a dollar, they don't see a fancy coffee or a brand new gadget. They see a seed. They're constantly thinking about how they can make that money grow for tomorrow. So it's basically a massive tug of war between enjoying today and building for the future. And how you lean in that tug of war completely defines your financial trajectory. An average person often buys things just to feel successful right in the moment. Essentially, they're sacrificing their future just for some temporary comfort and status. But a smart person operates on a whole different wavelength. They invest in things that create more value down the road. They are completely willing to wait today so they can have ultimate freedom tomorrow. They just don't need that immediate validation of a flashy purchase, because they're playing a much longer and, frankly, a much more rewarding game.
And this brings us to perhaps the most common financial trap out there, lifestyle inflation. An average earner increases their lifestyle every single time their income goes up. You get a raise, you buy a more expensive car, or maybe a bigger house. But successful people, they just don't do this. Instead of inflating their daily lifestyle, they build assets, improve their skills, and actually use their extra income to create more opportunities. They recognize that extra cash is a tool for wealth creation, not just a license to go spend more on stuff.
Let's jump into section 3, rethinking problems and risks, the psychology of success. The absolute biggest difference between these two groups is how they view roadblocks. When faced with a major hurdle, the limiting internal monologue of an average person immediately says, well, this is impossible. And that's a dead-end statement, right? It literally ends the conversation in your brain. But successful people ask a question instead. How can I make this possible? That tiny, subtle shift from making a statement to asking a proactive question, it literally forces your brain to start hunting for solutions instead of just throwing in the towel. Now, wealthy people definitely take risks, for sure, but they don't make these wild, emotional, impulsive decisions. Actually, they use a highly systematic approach. First, they thoroughly study the possible losses. They want to know exactly what the worst case scenario looks like. Second, they make sure they understand the exact risks involved. And only then do they pull the trigger and take smart, calculated actions. They take the emotion completely out of it and rely entirely on data and preparation.
Which leads us nicely to Section 4, the true meaning of wealth, redefining success.
So, what does this all mean? Well, true wealth is not about showing people what you own. It's about having the freedom to live life entirely on your own terms. This is a massive paradigm shift. Wealthy people don't spend money just to impress others because they know that buying expensive things to impress people you don't even know is basically a fast track to staying broke. Once you stop desiring material stuff just to prove your worth to society, you can focus on true autonomy. True wealth is actually pretty quiet. It's time freedom. It's having the ability to wake up and do exactly what you want to do that day.
And finally, Section 5, start your journey today. Small habits, big results.
Wealthy people understand that small habits create big results. You don't need some massive lottery windfall to get going. You can start today just by improving your everyday decisions. You save consistently, making it an automatic no-brainer part of your life. You invest wisely, putting your money into assets that actually grow. And, absolutely crucial here, you respect the power of time. Time is literally the secret ingredient behind long-term success and compounding interest. These small daily habits compound over decades to create massive long-term financial freedom.
Because at the end of the day, wealth isn't just about having a giant pile of cash sitting around. It's about creating a system. So I'll leave you with this question. Is your money working for you, generating more value while you sleep, or are you spending your entire life working only for money? The mindset of financial freedom is all about choosing to build a life where your resources serve you. Start building those habits today, make those mental shifts, and go rewrite your financial future.